Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're back on the updates 1.91 dev server and it's time to have a look at the SIDAM 25 Mistral. This is a rank 7 battle rating 10.0 SBAA which is coming to the game for Italy. But before we do this, I do want to actually show you something pretty cool for the automatic, which is of course the old school, top tier AA for Italy. Now the automatic is an incredibly big behemoth in the game, mainly because of its radar on the top. And with the advent of, radar and all of this stuff, what the hell is going on there? But the main thing is, with it, what happened, you can still, zoom in and shoot stuff down and be able to pretty much do whatever you want. But what you couldn't do is turn off its radar. Well, look what you can do now. You can turn it off and it all goes down, and you get this nice flat cap automatic. And then if you want to pop it back up, zoop, 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 zoop. It's great. Oh, it's the little things, it's the ammo being ejected out of the back of the turret. It's the automatic's radar going up and down. This is what makes, War Thunder such a fun thing to cover. Anyway, back to the SIDAM. So the SIDAM is going to come after the automatic in the Italian tech tree that you can find here, and it comes alongside the Ariete PSO as two new 10.0 vehicles for the Italians. Now, I was kind of skeptical about why this thing was 10.0 because of the fact that I understand that if we look at other nations, the missile guided, or the SAMs, I suppose, the vehicles with missiles on them. Now, when it came to the ground to air stuff, they were all 10.0, but I feel like, well, the SIDAM's guns weren't very good. The 25mm, they don't have a lot of range. It also doesn't have proper radar compared to a lot of them. It has a radar where you have to go into first person and use them, but after using it now, I understand why it's a 10.0, and it's all down to the missiles themselves. So the only real difference between the SIDAM 25 that we have at 8.0 and the SIDAM 25 Mistral that you see before you is this, the Mistral air-to-air missile itself. And this comes as a stock upgrade, so you don't have to grind this out, you don't have to worry at all. This thing is capable from day one to do exactly what it needs to, compared to, its normal self. The only thing that could help you or aid you in killing stuff is the horizontal turret drive, and also the M791, which gives you some APDS, but it doesn't give you a lot of it, as SIDAM 25 drivers will tell you. When it comes to the basic armor of this machine, it's 38mm all around. It's an M113 chassis with 29 here. It shouldn't really get hull broken. It also has the external fuel tanks on the back, which is always nice to see. On top of this as well, it has, of course, the loader, who is at the radio station, a fuel tank, all the ammo around the gunner, and of course the front driver here. It only has 3 crew, but once you get hit, you're normally dead anyway in the SIDAM, so it's not that big of a deal. You shouldn't be near the combat area really, unless your team really needs you. And because of that, it doesn't have a lot of armor. It only has a mass of 40.3 ton. And it only has an engine which powers 212 horsepower. So this is not a fast vehicle. Everything is designed around the weapon system, which is above the M113 chassis. The values for the 25mm, so the HEIT, it's 3mm a pen. So this gun is actually useful from around about 0 to 2 kilometers, but if you want to be even more useful, I suppose, you would only open up at about 1.5 kilometers. So for a battle rating 10.0 vehicle, which is mainly going to face helicopters, which is mainly going to face now Mach 1 or Mach 2 capable vehicles, the gun's not going to be very good. That's not the selling point of this vehicle. So you can pretty much toss the 25mm out and maybe even swap them for APDS, even though you don't get a lot of it in this machine. At least it's something compared to the guns, which are only going to be useful at ranges of, 1.5 to 2 out. So the other thing as well is it does get some kind of nice camos. It has the desert camouflage late, the tricolor, which is always my favorite, and also the winter camouflage. So you do have some nice options if you want to take them in this thing. and I think it's worth doing. Not really just for the not for the camouflage look, but just for the the swagger look in effect. And anyway, at 10.0, it definitely rounds out a really nice lineup that the Italians have. Now you have 3 Arietes, which is insane. You also have the automatic, which is more of a long-range thumper compared to this thing, and you also get the fact that you have some other vehicles such as the Romor, which you can complicate stuff with. So the Mistrals that you find on this vehicle are technically fire and forget, or at least that's how they enter the game. And so what that means is once you lock onto a target, once you fire the missile, you don't have to worry about it. It will hit the target and you focus on something else. So you can, in third person or first person, lock onto a target, fire the missile. I'm not really looking at it, I'm not locked on or anything, and the missile will annihilate the target. Now these Mistrals are insanely good in the game. These are very capable missiles, but it does mean, because of the lock-on system, you can't use it. You can hear me hitting the missile button right now. You can't use it against ground vehicles. You need to lock onto a vehicle in order to fire the missile. So if I'm trying to lock onto this I-21, it's going to do it, but I can't fire, right? So even though it's coming into the game at 10.0, it has a slightly different weapon system compared to the other SAM machines, where you can actually use them against stuff such as, you can actually use them against stuff on the ground, where this is a pure destruction, a pure machine which is designed to destruct stuff in the air. Now the Mistral goes up, it then comes down, and then it bops the it bops the IL-28. Like, these missiles are incredibly good at what they do, and you don't need, with the normal SIDAM, what you normally have to do is do this line of sight lock on and then move the guns with it like this. And instead what you can do is you can do the line of sight thing if you really feel like it, or you can just go into third person, line up the missile, and then just fire the missile, and then just go about your day. So you can go over here, you can maybe lock onto a secondary target, you can fire multiple missiles at the same time. So I can fire this missile here, and then I can lock onto the other one over here, and I can kill both of these targets within, seconds of each other because of how these missiles work. Look how far that went. We should actually get an accurate range that actually went, because it's just insane how powerful these missiles are, and it opens up a whole new door for technology that we could see in this game. Fire and forget is a technology which a lot of people have talked about for a while, and I don't know why, but sometimes the missiles just go straight into the ground when they feel like it. I don't know what really causes that. So there we go, and fire. Maybe it's a distance thing, but yeah, what you can do is just throw it and then it'll pop it. But the main thing is, this opens up one hell of a door for many different things to come into the game alongside the Mistral. So we already have Stingers for helicopters, and we might get them for ground units. We also may get other, other missiles which are this fire and forget nature. We are also getting beam riding missiles for something like the Swift, but even though it unfortunately doesn't have them yet. So this is a new branch of technology which we could easily move into and, well, do a lot of damage in the game with. It's kind of a scary technology in a way, because there's no real counter to it apart from flares and chaff and so on, but a lot of the vehicles don't have that in game yet, And also you can see there is a, once the missile is fired, it does leave a gap in the system, so that's very nice to see. But your ground capabilities are really not very good in this machine. You have, the APDS, which only lasts for so many rounds, 40 at most, in most situations that you're bringing it, because you want to try and take a mixture of the APDS and the, the air, just in case you need it. So your ground capabilities are not going to be very good. So bringing along this and the automatic, I can definitely see doing that. You bring your 3 Arietes, you bring your SIDAM, you bring your automatic. It's one hell of a lineup for the Italians at top tier now compared to what it was, you know, half a year ago. The Italians are still a young tree in War Thunder, and we've seen a massive explosion of vehicles and new ideas to them, which are incredibly interesting and incredibly good. Like, the fact is, with the Mistral, this is another nice toy that the Italians get before the majority of other nations when it comes to the ground vehicles, because obviously, as I said, this thing is definitely available on, or it's going to be available on stuff like the Lynx helicopter in the form of a Stinger and the fire and forget idea. So I could just look over here and be looking at other targets, and you feel like popping? Pop! There we go. Like, it's insane how deadly this thing is going to be to the majority of aircraft that it faces, and also helicopters. I mean, I suppose helicopters can dodge it by staying close to the ground, but it's not. It's easier said than done at the end of the day. And the fact that it doesn't get any anti-ground capabilities, I mean, all you have to really do is use the automatic for that, so it's not that big of a deal. And you do have some APDS, so I suppose you can use that against other ground vehicles if you really feel like, but you're going to be limited in that role. Overall, this is a next step towards incredibly powerful AA machines, and I'm wondering if it's going to cause a retaliation from the other side, where we get some insane aircraft to deal with these on the ground. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.
I'd just like to thank Ambrosius McClellan, B. Young, Blackie, Daniel Stanton, John Ryman, Joseph Anders, Martinez, Mopar 1969, Moxie, Super Cacti, Uyins Terry, and Elove Goats, and of course Seductive Trash Can for supporting the channel.